we are going to put them in the water. I sent these 10 cards into 5 grading companies on December 9th. Let's talk about the results. Well, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG. I hope you're having yourself a fantastic day. We've got our results back from all these grading companies. On December 9th, I sent in 10 different cards to 5 different grading companies. We sent in Mothman from Nightfall, from Metazoo's Nightfall set, and we also sent in Luminaris from Flesh and Blood's Monarch set. And we sent these cards, we sent 5 copies of each to PSA. We sent them to PCG, which is Channel Fireball's new grading company. We sent them to CGC. We sent them to SGC. And we sent them to Beckett. And the idea behind this was to ask the question, on this channel, which grading company do I prefer? Not just like, what does the slab look like? Not just like, what are the grades look like? But what was the user experience like? What was the entire process like? So we're gonna actually cut to another kind of, it's gonna be more of like a voiceover video where I'm gonna share with you the exact dates that I received communication from these companies. I'm gonna share with you, we'll talk about the grades, and then we'll come back at the end of this video and I will share my opinions based on some things. I'm sure there will be opinions worked into the rest of the video too. But yeah, got my grades back. Now let's talk about grading the graders. Let's talk about evaluating their services, not just their reputations, but actually what do you get when you work with each individual company. Let's hop in. So part 1 of this is going to be evaluating the communication of the companies and the speed of the grading process while they had the cards until they sent them to me. Now keep in mind, each grading company had a different promise and we will just simply hold them to what they said. All cards were shipped out on December 9th using the same shipping speed, and BGS was the first one to get them back to me. I do wish they'd use a larger box, as boxes this size often get lost in the mail, but the cards were protected and it seemed to be fine, and this time I got the correct cards back, unlike the last time I submitted to BGS. They sent me an email saying that they received the cards on December 14th, and the graders received and shipped them on December 16th with an email telling me which grades they received. I then received the cards on December 20th, having spent a total cost of $536 to receive 2 BGS 9 mint slabs. I do like that Beckett Grading Service has these subgrades in their submissions, and most people who buy BGS slabs would prefer that. The second company that got their cards back to me was actually one of the cheapest, in CGC. They sent me an email saying that they received the cards on December 14th, and they actually shipped them out on December 17th with no grades in the email. But it did have a link to view the grades if I wanted to see them early. I actually quite like this way of doing this. The CGC packaging was certainly the most unique and it protected the cards well. Again, I wish that it was a bigger box, but their 13-day timeline was certainly much cheaper at $130 total, including a KitchenTableTCG pedigree. Next, we have PSA, who sent me an email saying that they received the cards on December 13th, and it was December 27th when I received an email with my grades. I rather like that they did not include the grades in the email, but rather require you to click the button if you want to be surprised by your grades when you open your box. Of course, their box is about the same size as the BGS box and was shipped almost identically. This one, though, I do like that their shipping tape covers the entire box, and it is much more difficult for somebody to steal a card out of it. It didn't take too long for the cards to get to me, even over the holiday season, and I received them on December 30th for a total cost of $314 for a 21-day submission. The fourth company to get their box to me was Premier Card Grading, which actually was the most well packaged. These orders are fulfilled by Card Shop Live, which is Channel Fireball's alter ego, but I like that the box size is so much bigger. And then when you open up the box, it is well packaged and has an inside box that's very impressive and professional, and it protects the cards well. Now, I did not receive a single email from a PCG telling me that they received the cards, which worried me quite a bit. It was not until January 13th that I got an email saying that the cards were shipped to me, but I have learned since then that there is a submission tracker on the website, which looks to be pretty well done. I received my grades 41 days later on January 19th, and it had a total cost of $85.73. The last package I received was actually from SGC. They sent an email saying they received my cards on December 14th, but it wasn't until January 13th that they sent the cards to me in a small USPS flat rate shipping box. Now, there is nothing flashy about this box, which has its pros and cons. The cons is that it's kind of cheap, but the pros is that it's also hidden. It's just kind of a regular box, and nobody would ever think twice about stealing it. Now, for $75, it did take 42 days to get the cards to me, which was a considerable amount longer than the 30 days that they estimated when I checked out, but it was also the holiday season, and I understand that. Now, up to this point, as far as the grading process goes and ordering the grades all the way to receipt, I have to give CGC the top slot here. Let me tell you why. At $130, they were very reasonable priced. They also got me the cards very, very quickly, and their ordering process on the website was very simple, very intuitive, and I felt confident when I was ordering from their website. This kind of contrasts to BGS, where I actually had to handwrite the form because their website is so terrible. Now, I will say that Premier Grading Company had some of the best shipping and packaging. That being said, I didn't like that they didn't communicate with me in the way that the other ones did. I know they have that online submission form, but I like getting notifications, and that's important to me. SGC, no real issues with them. It did take a little bit long, and the quality of the packaging left some to be desired. But now that we've got the cards, let's take a look at the experience of interacting with these grading companies once you've gotten the cards back, and see how their services allow you to easily interact with the grades, and let's take a look at their slabs and all that stuff. Whenever you have slabs like this, you do enjoy looking at the cards, and I have to say that BGS's slabs had the most scratching on them out of all the slabs that I have received today. And, it just seems like they just don't give enough quality to it, in my opinion. PSA slabs had some scratching as well. Obviously, the PSA slab is a little smaller. It had some scratching on it, but overall, it looked a little bit cleaner than the BGS slabs. I'm not sure what does that scratching on those types of surfaces, but the CGC slabs were very, very clean, very crystal. I would say that these ones looked the best and that the card looks the best in those slabs. Meanwhile, the Premier Grading cards, they look pretty good. I think that there is a little bit of scratching. We'll see some issues when we get to the Metazoo card, but there is a little bit of scratching. Not nearly as good as the CGC, but much better than BGS. And then SGC, probably somewhere in the middle between PSA and BGS. There was some scratching on it, and also this slab leaves some fingerprints because of the black. Going back to that Premier Grading quality, there was some debris inside the slab that I received from PGC, and Matt Rogers did say that they would be willing to re-slab it for me and fix that issue, but we'll talk about that when we get to the grades as well. Now, as far as grades go, obviously that is so subjective. I'm going to save you from my opinions on my certain grades. I'll tell you some of the information, though, that might be pertinent if you want to grade these particular card games. In the comment section of this video, I will link a unlisted video that is just the raw footage of the cards for you to evaluate the cards on your own. The surface grade on the Mothman from PCG is something that definitely surprised me, and I've heard a lot of people talking about surface grades for other cards, but I couldn't find any issue with the surface of this card, and none of the other companies knocked me on surface grades. But after reaching out to the company, they said that it's tiny dents the size of a pinpoint in the back of the card that is caused during production of first edition Metazoo cards. And they even sent me a screenshot of this. So you had to make a decision in your own mind. Do you want to send cards to PCG if they are going to give you a 7.5 surface grade citing this, which seems like an outlier when you compare it to the other companies that we are talking about today. I absolutely loved getting a Gem Mint 10 from SGC for the Cold Foil Luminaris. I have to admit, I am biased with the SGC slabs. I think that they look really cool and they display really well because of that black background. But a 10 is incredibly hard to get in Flesh and Blood, particularly on the corners, and these corners looked very good. There was a very small indentation in the top left corner, but the rest of the corners looked very, very good. And upon doing further research, it seems that SGC does have a reputation for grading more difficultly than other grading companies in the past. So it was really interesting to see this card. I'm very curious to see what it would get if I were to send it into one of the other companies. Like I said, I will leave a video in the comment section of this video where you can see the entire footage of these cards up close and make the evaluations for yourself. But for now, I want to talk a little bit more about the user experience when you're dealing with these companies now that you have their slabs. PSA has what I think to be the best website and user experience in my opinion. They have a QR code on the back of every single one of their cards for no additional price, where you scan the QR code and it shows you a photo of the card as well as the population report, and even for some of the more popular cards, recent sold listings on eBay and auctions. So pretty cool to see some of that stuff. CGC also has a QR code, which is fantastic, albeit this one is a little bit less user-friendly and provides a little bit less information, but it does have pictures and all the things that you really need to know about the card. You can always look up the card value for yourself. And in my opinion, this is another form of certification where you can actually scan the QR code and make sure all the numbers and everything line up with the picture that they have on record of the card that is for that number. PCG does have a population report and a QR code. When you scan their card, it comes up and says it is coming soon. As soon as they have 10,000 submissions, this QR will tend to go to just a population report. There will not be any details about the card, and there will not be any photos in fear of fake listings. SGC slabs do not have any QR code on the back of the card, but they do have an authentication number. And if you head to gosgc.com, you can hit the auth code lookup and type in the code right there, and it will give you the population report of your card. They do take high-res photos, and those are available in the auth code lookup. And additionally, they have seller-ready photos available for you to download if you want to list your card for sale. That being said, the website is incredibly easy to use, and it is easy to find the auth code lookup function, which is a big help. In my opinion, the most difficult grading company to find the population report and info about your slabs was Beckett Grading Services. The best way to do it that I found was to use the app and actually go to your account and look at your orders to find it. But the website is so convoluted with different numbers and different advertisements and different things. It just seems like they don't have that big of a priority on you learning about your card and interacting with it on the digital space. That being said, once you do find the population report, it just tells you how many of each card, and it doesn't have any photos of your card or anything like that. So now we're at the point of the video, the hardest part of the video, where I have to rank these companies in order of 5 to 1 to tell you which one I think is the best company to grade cards with. I want to start talking now about the financial value that these grading companies do add to the cards, and I understand that in the past history we have seen that certain companies offer more value than others. On this channel, I want to be a little bit different. I understand that in particular cases, if you are looking to sell a card, you maybe should get it graded with BGS or PSA. For Pokemon cards particularly, you're gonna get more value of your card by grading it with PSA. For Magic the Gathering cards, you're going to get more value of your card by grading it with BGS, because the people who have been involved in these communities for a long time have stake in the game, and they tell you what your card is worth. Now, what I want to do is tell you that you get to tell you what your card is worth, and that actually if you're looking to get cards graded to hold for the long term, maybe it's better that you get a card graded that you like the company and that you like the user experience with. And so that's what I want to talk about now. I'm going to start off by giving the number 5 slot to BGS. Here's why. BGS was the most expensive grading company on this list. They did get the cards to me the fastest. That being said, their quality service is just horrible. Their website needs a complete revamp. They are stuck in the mid 2000s in terms of their customer service and their ability to provide a service to you. And their slabs look great. They're awesome. They're protecting the card. That's great, but they haven't invested in their company enough to get the submission times down, in terms of the volume and the pricing down. They have not invested in themselves to make anything better. And in my opinion, that's just not a company that I want to back and not a company that I want to be on board with. In 4th place, I'm gonna give it to PCG. Now, I have to be very, very clear. I think PCG has a lot of opportunity to grow from this, but based on some of the debris that was in the slab, and I know they offered to re-slab it for me, and I appreciate that, and I will probably fulfill that. But the thing is that they are the newest grading company on this list, and additionally, their grades were just kind of as I've looked at them on the internet, their grades are just kind of not as consistent as I thought they would be, especially looking at the Mothman grade. For me personally, I just don't plan on sending all my cards in, knowing that you're not going to ever have any grade above a 7.5 on that surface for Metazoo cards. So for me, that's just not the grading card company for me. Now, third through first is CGC. The price point on CGC is right there, right, you know, kind of a great price point at like $50 to $60 a card. The thing I'd hate, you know, first off, the card, the clarity of the slab is the best. It is by far the best on the clarity. What I hate about CGC and what I just can't get over is that ugly, whatever it is, label. It's just so ugly. I don't want to display it, and I'm a YouTuber. That's what I really liked about SGC, was that I could put it on a black background. It would make the cards really pop, and I think that SGC just needs to update that label. They've got everything else going for them. They've got the QR code, they've got the website, they've got the subgrades that are really good. I think long term, this is a company that can do things really well, and I think that these two companies, SGC and CGC, have the potential to put a lot of pressure on PSA and BGS, and I really like to see that. So this gets us down to our final two, and at the end of this, I'm gonna give PSA second place and SGC first place, and let me tell you why, and you can argue this in the comment section all you want. But my reasoning for this is, simply put, SGC looks a lot better on a shelf for me, and I think that the service is up and on par with something like PSA. The two major factors between first and second place is SGC lacks the QR code and PSA just lacks the looks to me. So this is my strategy. I'm going to utilize SGC for the majority of my cards, for all my Flesh and Blood cards, for all my Magic cards probably, and for all of my Metazoo and other cards. I'm going to utilize SGC, and probably even to Pokemon cards that I'm not looking to sell. When I'm looking to sell a card, I'm gonna take a high grade like this Luminaris. If I was looking to sell this, I would probably take this and send it into BGS or send it into PSA, as a result of understanding that those two marketplaces right now hold a premium. But I personally am gonna buy SGC slabs because I like them better. I think they look better. I like that they're a little bit bigger. They fit in my hand a little bit better. I think all in all, they look better on the background of stuff, but also they're clearer. I just think that they are a better slab, and I like the function of them. They're also cheaper, and I can't afford to send in a bunch of cards to PSA right now because they're so expensive. It costs me $150, $100 per card. That's really expensive. So for me, SGC takes the cake on this particular bet. That being said, I do think PSA is a very, very good grading company, and both of these companies are doing things to grow their businesses. They are both hiring more people in order to get through those backlogs and get to the better grading services. I just particularly think that SGC is doing a better job at that, of growing. They've gone, in 2020, they had 12 employees to now they have 90 employees. They are really pushing this, and I really believe in companies that are putting the pressure on PSA and BGS. So I'm going with SGC. That's just my opinion. Yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section. That being said, there's one final test to see which one of these will really push over the edge, and that is, you know, we have a history of flooding on this channel. Well, apparently they made my basement worse rather than making it better. So I think we should put all these slabs in a bucket of water for 1 minute and make sure that all the slabs are protected from flooding. All right, we are gonna put our cards in there. We are going to put them in the water, and then somehow we are going to fully submerge them. I guess we will use an alpha box for the weight, and we will see how they do in 1 minute. Oh, a full minute. I'm glad the alpha box is okay. We just had to do it. All right, let's take a look at the cards. We'll get them out, we'll dry them off, and we'll see what we're doing. All right, now that we're all dried off, looks like most of the cards survived. No real water damage on the CGC. The BGS seems to have survived. No water got into the case at all. We've got the PSA, which I actually thought water got in because of the blue on that top, but no water actually did get in upon further inspection. All the PSA slabs actually have a little bit of blue in that top right there, which is really interesting. The SGC slab, no water that I could tell, nothing going on inside. But the PCG slab, now I think the card is fine, but the PCG slab itself in the top, you can see it has quite a bit of water damage. That's what a fresh one looks like, and that's what the kind of now water damaged one looks like. So some water definitely got in there into the top half of the slab. Again, I'm not sure if they have sealed this line here that could have prevented water from getting in to the actual card. Who knows? Well, that's it, everyone. If you're still watching this video, thank you so much for being along for the ride with me. Make sure you leave a comment in the comment section. Make sure you share this video with your friends and on social media. This did cost me a lot of money to make and to put the investment and the time into, and investment in slabbing cards that I typically would not get slabbed. So if you don't mind hitting the like button, leaving a comment, helping the channel out, that would be fantastic. And if you want to support the channel and you want access to a community of TCG lovers like you, head on over to patreon.com/KitchenTableTCG. With that being said, I hope you have yourself a fantastic day. Remember to be kind to the people around you. We'll see you again next video.